Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you. So today is 2nd of December and I welcome you all to Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. In this particular video, we are going to take up entire analysis of Hindu. We'll take all articles along with their background as well as all necessary relevant information. And also I would like to tell you that you can download explainer notes of this particular session from our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram is given in description box in YouTube. Now, first of all, let's take overview of entire newspaper and let's understand that which articles are relevant for our examination in the today's paper. So first article that we have, okay. So first article that we have is India offers to host 2028 climate meet. We'll take this particular article for exam. Then Tamil Nadu governor cannot refer re-enacted bills to president, says Supreme Court. We'll take this particular article also for GS paper number 2 polity. Then after that, moving on, Israel resumes bombing. So guys, we have seen that 1 week ago, Hamas and Israel, they signed a deal to bring a humanitarian truce. Now, this particular deal was signed in exchange of hostages that will be released by Hamas because Hamas has captured hostages of Israel. So, this particular truce or this particular pause has now ended, and again bombing has started, which is being called as against a humanitarian crisis, which has begun. Okay. However, you are not really required to go too much in detail in this particular article for exam point of view. Then further moving on, GST revenues rise to 1.68 lakh crore rupees in November. I have told you so many number of times that it's not really very much necessary that you track every month's GST collections. Okay, just we need to see this particular thing that GST revenues are seeing a kind of a rebound, have seen a surge which shows a robust economic activity that is going on, but every month's exact number collection is not very much needed. Then further moving on in city section, we have the regional issues, political issues, all such kind of things that have been there. Okay, and then these advertisements, tenders, etc. So nothing much important articles have been given in this particular section. So directly we'll reach to editorial page. Okay, now in editorial page, here we have one article, loss and damage fund. Fine. Now we'll take this particular article. This article is with respect to COP28 meeting that is going on in Dubai. So we'll take this article also. Then improving the capability of Indian state. Now this is a very good article with respect to your governance GS paper number 2. We'll cover this particular article also for examination. Then further moving on, the process of Myanmar's actual unification has begun. Okay, so basically the article is talking about the NUG National Unity Consultative Council. Okay, now guys, I have read this particular entire article, but for exam point of view, particularly the type of questions that are asked in GS paper number 2 international relations, issues in neighborhood, article does not contains that much substance. It is talking about the charter that has been issued, what NUG is going to do, and all such kind of things are there. Okay, moving on further, Maharashtra's winter of caste discontent. Okay, so basically guys, this is a ground zero report in which they take up a particular issue and basically from the ground, personal accounts, stories, etc. they are given. Again, article is not much important for examination, so no need, I'll not suggest you to go too much in that. Then further moving on in this particular direction, glad that India has set up inquiry on plot to kill Panun White House. So recently guys, this particular issue we have seen, and this only you need to go in. What has happened? USA has indicted an Indian national, fine, in the in the charge of a in the charge of a in the charge of plotting the killing of a separatist leader. Okay, so that is the issue that has that has been there. So in that capacity, inquiry has been established. Then further moving on in this direction, okay, PM meets Israel president, calls for durable resolution of Palestine issue. Now India always has maintained two-state pollution approach, that is Israel should be there but a viable Palestine should also be created. Okay, and now as this war is going on between Israel and Hamas, so Prime Minister has kept forward the resolution of the Palestinian issue as soon as possible, keeping in mind all the humanitarian concerns. Then further moving on, here we have an article, UAE announces $30 billion fund to boost climate investment. We'll take this particular article also for examination. Okay, PM follows maximum global talk, minimum local walk, Congress, political statement, not very much important for examination. So no need to go too much in that particular detail. Then further moving on, we have these political statements, etc., that are there. Okay, okay, fine. Here we have one article, disinformation can impair democratic discourse. Chief Justice of India will take this particular article. In this particular article, certain expressions that have been given, they can directly be used by you in your essay paper, particularly the essays where philosophical flair is there. So certain points will take down from this particular article also. World Bank recalls paper on decline in toilet usage in India. Okay, so basically guys, we have seen that few weeks back, World Bank has released this particular report where it provided this particular thing, that trend of toilet usages have declined since 2018, though Swachh Bharat mission is being called as success and open defecation free ODF plus status has been given. Okay, their numbers of the villages while having the ODF and ODF plus status have increased, but this World Bank paper said that toilet usage has declined. Now they have withdrawn that particular paper. Okay, moving on guys, after that, business page, manufacturing PMI rebounds in November. Okay, then we have the corporate trends, etc. here, and then we have sports section. Okay, so guys, today being Saturday, we don't have text and the context section. Now text and context section contains three articles usually, and these articles actually some most of the times it contains some very good articles which can be utilized in our UPSC. But on Saturday, text and context is not published. In editorial, one page is ground zero report, and also science page does not comes on Saturday. Okay, so this is the articles that we have. So on Saturdays usually, because of non-availability of text and context, science, and one page in editorial, usually number of articles will be little bit less. Okay, now moving on, and let's start with the detailed discussion of the articles. Okay, now moving on. So I told you that you can download synoptic notes of this particular session. Okay, so here you can see synoptic notes. Every class we start with a GS quotation so that you can use these particular quotations in your examinations to complement the answers. So today we'll take quotation from Edmund Burke. So Edmund Burke says, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. So only absence of good men's activity will lead to the proliferation of evil. So what this particular thing points out? This particular quotation points out to citizens' apathy. To citizens' apathy. Now, what is apathy? Apathy means a sense of indifference. When people are not moved, when people are not affected by anything, that is called as apathy. So, good citizens, ethical citizens' apathy, sense of indifference will automatically give impetus to evil. So, this idea you can use in GS paper number 4 ethics. You can use this particular idea in GS paper number 4 ethics. Okay, so that is about it. And now guys, let's move and let's further take up the articles. And I would just guys would like to inform you with one particular update, that with respect to power play prelims test series that we are coming out with. Now this particular test series is going to start on 11th of December. So guys, I have also made a demo course. I have also made a demo module. Now, what is this demo module? Let me explain you. So basically, in the last few days, there have been few queries that have been asked. Certain messages have come to me, and students, they are asking that, sir, just can you show us that what will be the quality of questions, because there are so many big institutions and there seems to be a form of fear of missing out. So they just wanted this to see this particular thing. So we have launched this demo module. Okay, link for this demo module is on our Telegram channel. it is that demo module is free. In that demo module, you will find 15 questions which we have picked from our existing pool of questions that will be asked in the prelims test series. And these 15 questions are from geography, polity, history, current affairs. So you can attempt that and you will be able to get an idea that what will be the quality of questions that will come in this test series. So you can get the experience of questions, you can get the feel of the platform. So if you want to see the quality, you can first check with the demo module. Link for demo module I will put in comment box also here. Also the link for demo module I have posted on Telegram channel yesterday. You can go and you can see. Okay. Now, as you know, the power play prelims test series that we are starting on 11th of December, it will contain 70 plus test which will cover both CSAT as well as GS. It will include sectional test as well as full length test. Also comprehensive test will be there, and we have designed syllabus in such a way that you will be able to do multiple revisions of your subjects before prelims examination comes. Okay. And in this particular test series, we are going to give a dedicated focus on current affairs. We are going to have dedicated test on economic survey, budget. Also, questions have been designed in such a way where static and current affairs both will be focused upon. Okay. And this particular test series is available for subscription at a highly subsidized price, which is the most competitive one. It is just 999 plus taxes. However, this pricing will be available for only first 500 enrollments. Post that, it will be reverted back to its original pricing, that is 3999 plus taxes. Okay. Now, moving on further. Okay, so India offers to host 2028 climate meet. So there are actually three articles that have come on COP28 issue today. Three articles are there. Let me show you those articles and then we'll see. India offers to host 2028 climate meet. Then there is one more article. UAE announces $30 billion fund to boost climate investments. And then we have one more article, finding funds. Okay, so all these particular articles briefly will explain us developments that are going on in COP28. First of all, let's take some basic background information so that you can make sense of these developments that are going to come. So basically, countries that have signed UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, or Climate Change Convention, countries who have signed it, they meet every year for meeting which is called as Conference of Parties. And this year, that is 2023, this year 2023, 28th edition of COP, 28th edition of Conference of Party is being held at Dubai, okay, where the countries will meet and they will discuss what steps they need to take in order to mitigate the impacts of climate change, in order to adapt with the climate change, in order to reduce the carbon emissions, what is to be done. Okay, so basically guys, in 2015 Paris agreement was signed. And in this particular Paris agreement, it was agreed that countries will aim to ensure that temperature rise should not happen beyond 2 degrees Celsius, or if possible beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius, temperature rise should not happen compared to pre-industrial level. Okay, so compared to that, temperature rise should not go beyond 2 degree and if possible beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius. So for that particular thing, countries have adopted intended nationally determined contributions. Okay, these are voluntary targets that countries have taken up, and to review their progress, to upgrade their progress, these meetings usually held. Okay, now what are the outcomes of COP28 that has now started in Dubai on Thursday? So few developments that have come out of this is that number one guys, what India has proposed in COP28, India has offered that 2028 edition of COP, that is 33rd edition, that is the 33rd edition of COP, which will be held in 2028. India wishes to host this particular meeting. Now in prelims, a question might come that India, for example, there are the statement based questions that come. For example, India never hosted COP in the past. India has hosted COP in past twice. So first of all, you need to understand that India has hosted COP up till now only once, that is in 2002. In 2002. And if any country wishes to host conference of parties, then all the proposal should be approved by the other signatories of UNFCCC, other countries who are the signatories of UNFCCC. So if they will allow, if they will agree, then India will host it. This is one. Then guys, also one very good initiative has been launched by India at COP, that is Green Credit Initiative. Green Credit Initiative. Now, what is this Green Credit Initiative? This initiative is to establish a carbon sink fine in developing countries. Carbon sink in developing countries. Now, how this particular initiative will work, though article has not given much details about this Green Credit Initiative, but I have provided you all the details here from other newspapers, PIB, etc. So you need not to worry. So basically, government is going to create inventory of wastelands, inventory of degraded lands. Okay, so wastelands, degraded lands, they will be identified, and then these particular lands will be taken up by organizations, by individuals, by corporations, and they can plant trees over these degraded and waste lands. And as more and more plants and trees will be planted on these particular areas, what will happen? The carbon sequestration capacity will be enhanced. As they will absorb more and more CO2, we will be able to create a bigger carbon sink. Also guys, what actually happened in 2021 at COP26, which was held in Glasgow, India has taken Panch Amrit targets. Under those Panch Amrit targets, India has said that we will build an additional 1 billion ton of carbon sequestration capabilities. Okay, 1 billion ton of carbon will be sequestered by India alone. Okay, and now India wants that other countries should also build carbon sink, and for that we need to plant more trees, and for that we need to identify the degraded wastelands. Okay, now guys, individual organizations, public spirited organizations, they can plant trees, and in return of that they will get tradable green credits. They will get tradable green credits. Now, how these particular green credits are going to work, understand this particular thing guys. Now, many industries are there which are polluting industries. Okay, and because they are polluting industries, on these industries there is a responsibility that they have to do certain they have to plant trees, they have to do certain activities which are responsible activities in terms of the environmental conservation. So these green credits can be traded, can be given to them. Okay, so this is going to be a win-win situation for both. So this entire process, registration, plantation, verification, issuance of green credit, all this process is going to be digitized, and India wants other countries should also join it. Now guys, domestically, this is not entirely a new thing. Already India has launched it. Okay, so there is some additional material also that I have given you here. Please do read it. So what India has done, India already launched Green Credit Program in October 2023, which is a voluntary program. Okay, and as of now, Green Credit Program of India is focusing on water conservation activities and afforestation activities, and now its international version. So Green Credit Program's international version is the Green Credit Initiative. Okay, now this entire program is in line with LIFE movement that India has started. What is LIFE? LIFE stands for lifestyle for environment. Okay, in which we want to emphasize on sustainability. So this is in line with the LIFE movement. Okay, so this is one more development. Now let's move to third development that has happened at COP28. And this third development is that UAE, which is the host of the present 28th edition of COP, they have organized a privately held investment fund called as Altera. Now keep this particular thing in mind that it is going to be probably biggest environmental fund. This fund is not a sovereign fund. Sovereign fund means it is not a government held fund. It is a privately managed fund. It is a privately managed fund. And this particular fund aims to mobilize $250 billion by 2030. And these $250 billion will then be invested in renewable energies, will be developed in climate conscious infrastructural projects, etc. And in this fund, alone UAE is going to contribute $30 billion. $30 billion. Okay. Now, basically, one part of this particular fund will be used to deploy renewable energies in India also. So, from this particular fund, 6 gigawatt worth of renewable electricity, renewable energy will be deployed in India. Now, when we talk about 1 gigawatt, it is equal to 1000 megawatt. Okay, so clean energy will be deployed in India also. So India will get a clear benefit of this particular fund. Okay, now moving on in this particular direction. Okay, now guys, when we talk about this particular fund Altera, it is based on 4 pillars, 4 principles. And what are these 4 principles? Number 1 is energy transition. Now when we talk about energy transition, okay, so see, there is 2 terms that you might have often heard in news. Fine, phase out and phase down. Phase out and phase down. What is phase out? Phase out is that coal is to be replaced completely by renewable energies. That is phase out. Other is phase down. Phase down is that we will reduce the amount of coal that we are using gradually and will switch to renewable energies. Now, phase out and phase down has been a controversial issue between developing and the developed countries. In 2021, COP26 that was held in Glasgow, developing countries were successful to bring the other countries on board that we are not ready for phase out. We cannot completely negate coal. Rather, we'll go with phase down, that we will transit from coal to other technologies. That is energy transition. Now, for energy transition, we need money, we need support, and Altera Fund will help to provide for energy transitions to developing countries such as India. Next is industrial decarbonization. Industrial decarbonization, industries which are big time emitters of carbon, they will be decarbonized. Second is sustainable, third is sustainable living and climate technologies. These are pillars of Altera. Then loss and damage fund. Loss and damage fund, this development has also happened, and I have discussed loss and damage fund with you in yesterday's newspaper analysis already. On first day, loss and damage fund also got approved at COP28. Now let's understand what is this loss and damage fund. First of all guys, understand this particular thing, that as climate change will happen, certain countries and largely island nations, developing countries, they are going to face irreversible damages. For example, countries who are dependent on tourism, they will face irreversible damages. Their coastlines or their tourist spots will be submerged under the sea. So in order to compensate, in order to provide money to them, loss and damage fund idea was agreed in 2022 in Egypt last year, that is COP27. Idea was approved. Now what has happened, formally this loss and damage fund has been adopted. Now guys, understand this thing, there is one more adaptation and mitigation fund that is different. This is a different fund. Loss and damage fund is a different fund. So this particular fund has now officially got adopted, and many countries have even contributed money also in this loss and damage fund. Okay, for example, $10 million have been donated by Japan, $100 million have been given by Germany, UAE likewise, and $450 million already have come in this loss and damage fund. Now money will be used to compensate to developing countries, money will be given to island nations, likewise money will be given. So it looks that it is such a good thing that has happened. But in this loss and damage fund, there are certain issues that has not been resolved up till now. Let's see what these issues are. Number one issue is this. Already I have told you this as yesterday also, that interim host of this particular fund will be World Bank. It will be hosting this particular fund. Now World Bank is going to charge a hefty fees for hosting this particular fund. As this particular fees will be charged, it will reduce the amount of money that will be available for developing country. So this is one issue. Second issue is this, that see, one time commitment have been given by these countries. Okay, but there is no mechanism as how this particular fund will be replenished. Periodical replenishment has not been discussed. Once you have given the money, how the next tranche of payment will come, that is not discussed. Third, even the amount of money that has been donated, it is insufficient. We require billions of dollars, rather trillions of dollars are needed, but only $450 million have been given up till now, which looks like peanuts in terms of what is actually needed. Okay. And the next thing that comes here is that the contributions are mostly voluntary. Okay. And every country has been invited to donate. But it looks highly suspicious that actually big polluters are going to contribute, because $100 billion that was to be given for adaptation by 2020 has not come till now. So whether new money in this new fund L&D will be given by countries such as USA or not, it is something which is highly basically there is a lot of haze that is there in this. So this is guys all about it. Fine, I hope that you have understood it. And now moving to next article. Okay, improving the capability of the Indian state. Improving the capability of Indian state. Okay, now improving the capability of Indian state. This particular article will see with respect to GS paper number 2, governance. GS paper number 2, governance and related issues. And I'll tell you, this is actually a very good article. You can mark it as a 5-star article. Okay. Now, article actually talks about crisis of Indian state in terms of governance. Now, often we see this particular thing that governance is not good in India. Governance is not effective in India. Often poor people, vulnerable people, they are not able to get social justice because of poor governance structures. So those issues have been discussed here. Now guys, the article, now first of all, see, when we talk about India as a state, you can define India as a state in an apt dictum that Indian state is people thin but process thick. People thin and process thick. First of all, what is the meaning of process thick? Process thick means that there are so many rules, so many regulations, so much of red tapeism that often a person feels trapped in that. For example, if you want to start a business in India, if you want to build a building, if you want to do some construction, if you will do that, you will know that how much red tapeism is there, how many processes are there, how many approvals are needed, how many compliances are needed. You will find that so deep red tape is there. Processes are very thick. But at the same time, civil servants number, they are very much less. And for that, we have some numbers here. Now, guys, when we talk about in G20 countries, fine, what is the share of India's public sector in employment? So when we talk about out of total employment that is there in India, public sector contributes 5.77% of employment. Out of total employment, 5.77% of employment is being contributed by the public sector, and this is very much less. It is half of Indonesia, half of China, and just 1/3 of United Kingdom. For example, in UK, around 15% share in employment is of only public sector. So India's public sector has not hired sufficient number of people, number one. Number two, guys, it has also been provided that when we talk about the civil servants in India, they are less compared to the countries such as US. For example, in India, we have 1600 civil servants for every 1 million person, for every 1 million people. But in USA, there are 7500 civil servants for 1 million people. Now guys, see, when we are talking about civil servants, we are not only talking about IAS officers, IPS officers. In civil servants, all the employees who are on the payroll of the government will come. Less number of civil servants mean less number of government doctors, means less number of teachers in public schools, mean less number of teachers or faculties or professors into the government educational institutions, less number of people in municipalities. Okay, so less workforce is there. Also, guys, it has also been provided that on other important metrics also, India's state is small. For example, tax to GDP ratio. Tax to GDP ratio. Now, guys, when we talk about tax to GDP ratio, India's tax to GDP ratio is lowest in OECD countries. Also, public expenditure to GDP ratio, in proportion to GDP, public expenditure incurred by the government, that is also very much less. So it shows the capabilities of Indian state has been low, it has been less. So as I have told you that you can say that Indian state is people thin, less number of civil servants, but process thick, red tape, rules, regulations, they are so much, Now, so guys, here what they have done, they have given they have highlighted certain problems that are there in Indian state, and they have taken the reference from a book, that is State Capability in India. So they have taken the reference from the book State Capability in India, and always it is appreciated if you give some book references in your answers. Okay, so if you can quote some thinkers means if you can give some quotations, if you can quote some books, okay, some data if you can give, it is always appreciated. So you can give this State Capability in India. This is book by T.V. Somanathan and Gulzar Natarajan. Okay, both are the IAS officers. Okay, now they say this particular thing, that what are the problems in governance? Number one, there is extreme concentration of policy making and implementation within government departments. It leads to concentration of power. They say that, however, this should not be done. Policy making and policy execution should be bifurcated. Policy making should happen at the level of ministry or department, but policy execution should be given to the dedicated bodies. And here we have example of NHAI, National Highways Authority of India. Now, if you see, guys, and you might have observed this particular thing also, that there is an impressive improvement in terms of road infrastructure that we have constructed in past few years. We have constructed road projects at a very impressive number. Why this is happening? Because NHAI, it is only responsible for executing road projects. Policy making, NHAI does not have a role. Policy making is done by the Ministry of Road Transport and Highway, but NHAI just only executes the project. So this is one that should be done. Then second thing that has been provided is that in the top policy making, there is lack of specialist officers, technocratic skills, technical skills, specialized skills, they are lacking. Now guys, just let's understand this thing little bit more deeply. You know this thing, that in top positions in policy making, IAS officers are sitting. And if we see, IAS officers are selected through UPSC examination, and they happen to be the generalist officers. But sometimes we don't need generalist, we need specialist. Particularly if we have to deal with these new emerging threats such as artificial intelligence, machine to machine learning, we need specialist officers. But we have not focused on hiring the specialist officer. Even lateral entry was a mechanism by which we tried to bring specialist officers directly, but that has also not been very successful. And it is being said that because specialist or domain specialists are not there, we take the services of the consulting firms. For example, 500 crore rupees in the last 5 years have been paid to consultancy firms such as PwC, Price Waterhouse Coopers, okay, Deloitte, Ernst and Young, KPMG, McKinsey. So rather than giving that much money, we should hire our own specialist officers. Then after that, guys, it has been provided that we can hire the specialist officer and can provide the subject specific training even to existing officers under Mission Karma Yogi, that is National Program for Civil Services Capacity Building. We should implement it. Right now it is not happening. Okay, this is one. Then further guys, moving on, after that article says that particularly at the regulatory systems. For example, we have SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India. Now SEBI is regulator of stock market in India. We have Reserve Bank of India, which is the regulator of banks, banking operations and all such things. But they are also understaffed. Because of that, often policy making, often proper regulation is impacted. They say give example, for example, when we talk about SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India, it has the staff of just 800. But USA's Security Regulation Board, they have staff of 4,500 experts. When we talk about India's RBI has just the staff of 7,000 people, but their central bank staff is 22,000. So compared to that, in these particular institutions, we need to stuff them with more human resource so that they can come out with better policy making. Then next thing is that often political will is needed. Political will is needed for these things. And also guys, one more thing that they have suggested, see, we have many high profile institutions, offices such as Election Commission of India, and many such institutions are there. Okay. Now, basically it is provided that in the many high profile institutions, retired officers are appointed. Retired officers are appointed. Now these retired officers, fine, retired officers, already they are drawing their pension. Already they are drawing their pension. And when they are appointed post retirement, one more salary is given to them. Okay. And because of this particular thing, they automatically get inclined a lot towards the government. Why? Because see, if you want to get a job even after your appointment, that can only happen if you have some strong connections with the government. Okay, so then they becomes easily they are more prone to political manipulation. So it has been said that rather than appointing them after retirement, increase the retirement age to 65 years at least. Okay. And then now this is actually a very different kind of an interesting observation that has been given. See, basically guys, it has been provided. Now let's take this thing. If you go to interview and interview panelist asks you a question that why you want to join civil services, you will say that, sir, I want to serve society. I want to serve society. Therefore, I want to join civil services. You will not say that, sir, salary is very good. I will get a lot of money here. This is the reason. No, you will say that I want to serve society. It has been said that, however, paradoxically, what is happening, government jobs, they are offering very high salaries. They are offering so many good perks. Okay, so it is happening, it is not attracting the people who actually want to work for society. It is attracting those people who are looking for a stable career, who are looking for a lucrative job, and who are looking for high salaries. They end up in civil services. They have no notion, they have no interest in serving poor people. People who want to make a good career, who want to have a stable career, but don't have another way, they just join for civil services. So it has been provided that what is happening, it is true that with the coming of 6th pay commission, 7th pay commission, salaries and wages that are being given by government, they are far higher than what is being given into the private sector. What it does, it breeds corruption in appointment. It breeds corruption in appointment. Lakhs and lakhs of rupees bribe is being given for certain appointments. Okay, it makes government jobs very lucrative, and even individuals who are not socially driven, they come in this. So they actually have made a point of not reducing salaries, not increasing salaries very rapidly. Okay, so this is guys about it. Now moving to next article. Fine. So a very good article guys, and I will suggest you that please take down the notes that have been given. Tamil Nadu governor cannot refer re-enacted bills to president, says Supreme Court. Now this particular article we are going to see with respect to GS paper number 2 polity, the role of governor and the issues associated with the position of governor. Now first of all, before going on in this particular article, I would like to give you some basic background information. This information we have discussed earlier also, and you might be knowing it also. However, if not, or if you have forgotten, let's revise. So guys, we have seen this particular thing that often state legislative assemblies, they are passing a bill, they pass the bill then goes to governor, and governor's assent or approval is necessary for making this particular bill as an act. Okay, so bill will not become an act until and unless governor has given their approval. Now, governor under the purview of Article 200 has four options. Option number 1, governor can give assent to bill. Option number 2, governor can withhold assent to bill, means will refuse that I will not give assent. Bill option number 3 is return the bill, but bill can be written only if it is not a money bill. If not a money bill, then bill can be returned to assembly. And option number 4, reserve bill for president. However, every bill cannot be reserved for president. Those bills can be reserved for president. For example, bills which will impact the power of High Court, or bill which deals with making a law on concurrent list subject on which already union has made a law. Such things means limited conditions only bill can be given to president. Now, what has happened? Multiple state governments, particularly those state government in which different political parties there than the center, they say that governor deliberately is not giving approval to our bill, and states such as Tamil Nadu, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Punjab, etc. They have approached Supreme Court and they have asked Supreme Court that Supreme Court should give a clear directive to governor that governor should not withhold assent to bill, or governor should not keep bills pending in his pockets, should give approval to bill as soon as possible, because in Article 200 word as soon as possible has been clearly written. Now on this particular thing, guys, what happened recently, Supreme Court has given its ruling, and Supreme Court has given very clearly that governor in, see, number one, governor is giving assent, good, not a problem. B, if governor has withhold the assent to bill, then governor has to return that bill to assembly, and after that assembly can modify that bill or may not modify that bill, and if assembly again sends the bill back to governor, this time governor has only one option, that is to give assent to bill. So virtually Supreme Court has said that governor, in effect, virtually governor has no power in the bill's matter. It cannot withhold. Even because the assent given, end of the story. Even if he has withhold, he has to send the bill back. Then assembly can send back, and second time he can not do anything. Only he have to give assent. This ruling has been given, and we have discussed, I think, 3-4 times in the past also. Now new issue has emerged. What new issue has come? Now what governor is doing? Governor is now rather than giving approval, governor is sending bill to president. Governor is sending bill to president. Okay. So what has happened? Re-enacted bills. Okay, re-enacted bills. Now again, when state assemblies are sending re-enacted bills, governor is reserving those bills for president. And this has happened in the case of Tamil Nadu. This has happened in the case of Tamil Nadu. And Supreme Court had said that governor is trying to exhibit constitutional obstinacy. Constitutional obstinacy. What is the obstinacy? It means to put an obstacle. It means to put an obstacle. So governor is showing the constitutional obstinacy by referring the bills to president, and Supreme Court had said that such thing cannot be done. Such thing cannot be done. Governor cannot withhold assent, and governor cannot stall the bill by sending them merely to president. This is wrong. This is constitutionally imperfect. So this is something, guys, that has happened. My point is that please keep a track on these particular developments as they are happening for your examination. Very important, because on governor a question can be framed. Now moving on to next article. Disinformation can impair democratic discontent, Chief Justice of India. Now guys, we all know this particular thing, that disinformation or misinformation, what they do, they hamper the democratic functioning. They undermine institutions. Okay, they propagate riots, they propagate tension, they propagate social injustices. Okay, that is something. Now first of all, there is a difference between word disinformation and misinformation. Misinformation is wrong information and disinformation is distorted information. Let me give you one example. Suppose I had a wrong information, okay, and I am passing this information to others. This is misinformation. Okay, misinformation. Secondly, I had correct information. But I know that this correct information will not serve my purpose. What I do, I distort this information. On a purpose. Okay, and then I spread this distorted information to other people. Fake information, knowingly, with a purpose I am spreading. That is disinformation. So these disinformation and misinformation are very big problems in democratic functioning. Now Chief Justice of India has given a lecture, okay, on the fake misinformation and disinformation. And what I have done, I have given certain excerpts from his speech which you can use in your answers by mentioning that Chief Justice of India mentioned this particular thing. So in essay, dedicatedly you can use it. So you can use it in your essay. So what Chief Justice of India had said? Chief Justice of India had said this particular thing, that fake news had drowned. Drowned means somebody to submerge something. Has drowned out true information simply by virtue of the scale of dissemination in the digital age. Okay. Replacing the character of discourse from truth seeking to the loudest voice. To the loudest voice. Now see this particular thing. A very, very beautiful line he has made. So today, true voice does not matter. So loudest voice matters. True voice does not matter. The loudest voice matters. Okay. Today, in the age of social media, it does not matter that what quality of content is being given. Rather, what matters that who is having how many subscribers, how many influence. Person having big influence, per people having more subscribers are able to influence everybody a lot. Are you getting it or not? We have guys seen this particular thing in past. That we have seen this particular things in the past that even the chief ministers have openly endorsed certain social media influencers. Why? Just because of their fan following. We know all this particular thing that there are people who actually are doing some good for the society. They never get appreciation, but because a person had large social media following, okay, these people are being endorsed by the even the ministers. Okay, so my point that I'm trying to make is that is that we don't give importance to true voice, we give importance to loudest voice. This is something that is happening, and by that loud voice, even if the fake news is getting spread out, that will receive more limelight. Disinformation has the power of impairing democratic discourse forever, pushing a marketplace of free ideas to the point of collapse under the immense weight of fake stories. Okay, so under the weight of fake stories, true ideas, true stories will virtually get collapsed. And also, guys, uh, Chief Justice of India has talked about the role of social media. Role of social media. So basically, guys, it has been provided that traditionally civil right activists, they have held corporates that their power is to be restricted. Okay, so civil right activists have held that corporations' power should be limited, but now they don't do this. Okay, now they don't do this. Why? Because according to according to civil activists, today corporations such as Facebook, YouTube, etc., Meta, etc., they are the one which are helping them to propagate their ideas. Today, many of reporters, journalists, because they have YouTube, they are able to freely criticize government. If YouTube would not have been there, if social media would not have been there, they would have no place to criticize openly government. So what they are doing today, civil right activists no longer place the corporation within the traditional box of an entity whose power is to be restricted. In fact, they rely on social media corporations such as the Meta, Google, etc., because they give them the platform to express themselves. They give them platforms to express themselves. Okay. But there is a flip side. There is a negative side of this particular development. What is the negative side? We are putting so much reliance on these private organizations. We are putting so much reliance on these private organizations. Are you getting it or not? These private organizations, they cannot be held liable by constitution. Okay, so this is something that has happened in this particular direction. Guys, I hope that you have got idea. And now moving to the main practice question for today, and the question that we'll take for today is that, do you agree that Indian state is people thin but process thick? Process thick. GS paper number 2, governance. GS paper number 2, governance. So guys, with this we come to an end to today's newspaper analysis. I hope that you have liked the video, and I hope that you are appreciating the effort that we are putting in here. And if that is the case, I would like to request you guys that please support our initiative by liking the video, by sharing this video with the people who you think need it. Also, please leave your lovely comments, because by your interactions, we get a support by YouTube, because YouTube algorithm pushes any video on the basis of engagement that is shown on that particular video. And again, coming to this particular thing that we often see, that there are so many engagements and so many support that is shown to prank videos but not to educational videos. So please do support us. So thank you guys, and now we'll be meeting on Monday, because that Sunday we keep as a day for revision. Okay, so that is about it. Take care. Thank you.